Home is where the heart is. Heaven knows I didn't get enough. And I'm afraid of darkness. So life is better when you light me up. And I'm ashamed of all of my mistakes. For heaven's sakes, I've been swinging from the rafters. And I don't know if I got what it takes. For heaven's sakes, throw me out with all them bastards. Small disasters.
Man, so what it took to put this together was Herculean. We're using a vintage computer and a snowball microphone that I just ran and got from Staples because I couldn't find the one that I bought for this purpose.
But you built this recording studio years ago.
Yeah, it's been around a long time.
So you've just not had a few pieces here that are missing.
Yeah, but we're underway, which is good. And this, if this works out well, and this will be our first episode of a lifetime. All right? A lifetime of episodes? No?
I hope so. I've had a lifetime of episodes up until now.
Yeah, I was trying to get you the right medication, but didn't seem to be
this is the
working.
first time when Molly was mocking me as I remembered
back
that.
She back there mocking us?
Mm-hmm.
Our efforts?
I shouldn't be eating. I didn't buy a how to do a podcast rule, but I would assume eating chips.
Eating chips is
not on it.
I think it's all right. I think you just need to be able to voice your thoughts, and if chips, what it take to make that happen, then that's what we do. Speaking of which, am I going to edit this or you? Am I editing this? I probably am, huh?
We can see if you can start it, and if you don't have time, I'll give it a whirl. I have an idea that I've always wanted, but I think you have to pay for it. But "Welcome to My World" by Elvis. I always thought that would be a great opening theme for.
That'd be really cool. I imagine we'd have to pay a lot for it, though, wouldn't we?
I don't know. Play 15 seconds of it.
Oh, yeah, maybe there's a time limit. Just do a part of it. My mom met Elvis.
I heard.
Yeah, I don't know how true the story is. But she went to his concert, and he threw the handkerchief scarves that he threw, and she caught one. And then she was invited to the dressing room, and she said nothing untoward took place, but she got to be in the backstage with Elvis. So that's kind of cool. And we used to listen to Elvis a lot when I was growing up, and that era.
Because of that,
she liked Elvis already, then went to the concert, and then this sort of put her over the top Elvis fan. So we listened to it a lot. So it was great. I liked it.
Very cool.
So,
but now she has Ron, and Ron. Elvis doesn't hold a candle to Ron.
Ron's amazing. Yeah. So you see why Elvis took the easy way out.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Ron's cool. He and I are the exact same size, so I get to wear his tuxedo, which is cool. Yeah, that's amazing. Huge money saver. And it's stylish. I don't know what year it's from. So we're out here on the deck and looking out at the forest.
In beautiful Twain Harte, California.
Gorgeous. It's about 1,000 degrees today.
Never heard of it? Look it up.
Yeah. What do you want to... the URL that you got, right, is Hartlandia?
Hartlandia.
Do you want to co-op that also for
yes,
podcast name?
Let's do that. We do podcasts and funny pictures. And I still think, even though it would have been funnier when she was younger, I still think a Ask Fiona podcast would be, because Fiona is Matt's daughter, and she knew everything since she was 5.
She was born,
and she's very smart.
Very smart. So now you would just get the right answer straight up.
Yeah, you just get a smart aleck teenager.
She would just sass you. She would sass you and leave, and then she would dab. Yeah, that's just the sound effect.
It's those new wind chimes that you bought.
They're beautiful.
Did you get those at Morro Bay?
Yeah, we did. Those are shells, seashells, and wrenches. Really pretty. Really just a delight.
It's beautiful. Wow, we've filled up. How much? I can't tell how much that is. 216 minutes. Is that what that is?
Is that how that works?
No, it's That's
Can't
not
be
what it's
that, because that would be a lot. I
This
don't know.
may never reach. This may be the lost episode.
Yeah, I think it will be. We're just kind of finding our
release
way.
It for $39.95 on our 100th episode anniversary
on the Blu-ray.
So, have you seen Ant-Man yet?
I saw the original one, which I loved dearly. I've not seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. And you saw it?
I've seen it.
When do you want to see it again?
Right now, let's go.
Do you want to go do that?
Let's podcast straight from there.
I
think you will like it very much. It has father-daughter themes, which are very endearing.
Well, that's good.
And the funniest Stan Lee
really?
cameo ever. Because it may be his last one. Who knows?
Did they do with Stanley? Do you know? Did they do do they have more cameos canned in the bucket, ready to go, so that sadly, when Stanley passes, they'll still be able to kind of shoehorn him into other.
That's what I've heard, and the way they can with CGI and stuff. I bet you they just
right. They
all
scanned
kinds
his
of
head.
stuff. Like in 20 years, he'll still be on.
That's not a bad idea at all.
And they use that anti-aging effect on Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer in the movie too, and that's getting to be popular, where they make him look younger.
Yeah,
and they're going to do that with like that Captain Marvel movie. Samuel Jackson's supposed to be like 30 years younger in it, so I mean
that's cool. Well, it's getting really good. Like the Michael Douglas looked extremely convincing to me in the first Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And then the clips I've seen for the second Ant-Man. The Marvel Universe is amazing. I think straight up, crazy time to be alive. Where how many movies are there? 21 movies now. 21 in the set. What a huge little kid inside you just gets to indulge in an environment that is completely submersive. Take the idea of a comic book. I think Seinfeld had the concept that when boys were reading comic books, they were just job descriptions. They were just, can I be Batman? Do you want to be Superman? So comic books to me were a huge part of my growing up. And whenever they tried to put it on film, you found out that costumes in general don't work in real life. Back in the day, you'd see the original Spider-Man or something like that, and it looked like a crazy person because the costume fit loosely. And whereas now the costume design and execution are believable. So they're like motorcycle suits. Like Ant-Man's costume to me is fantastic.
It looks like a motorcycle suit.
Yeah,
you'd probably wear that if they
made that as a motorcycle suit. I would wear that on the bike for sure. Yeah, so it seems very realistic to me, and I want to get the entire set on Blu-ray or whatever the next thing's going to be, and watch it all.
I just read like by the end of this month, I think it's the end of this month. The first Infinity War is going to be out on Blu-ray, all digital and everything. They got to get that money. They already made $2 billion.
Right.
Like, okay, well, people got to start buying it for their houses.
Yeah,
so,
it's just the beginning, right?
And
the toys and all that. Like, I think it has supplanted Star Wars as the go-to fantasy kids playing. You see kids as Captain America like all the time, and even Batman, even the DC universe. Like, it's
but not for long. They're blowing it.
Yeah, they're not doing a good job. But Marvel's amazing, and I think that Disney's not doing that great a job with Star Wars. And I'm sad. Breaks my heart.
It must be at some point they just have too much stuff going on. I don't know if they can give it
what
maybe do they have too? I'm not the Star Wars fan that Matt is. Are they trying to do too much? Are they trying to do too many?
Well, it seems like the same pace as Marvel, so I think you just need a good crew together to do it and good writers. I think where Marvel succeeds is like character moments. They're really good at when you get a pair up of Thor and Loki, of course, but like you get a pair up of unlikely couple, and you get a really good interaction between them as they would speak. Where with Star Wars, they've sort of lost that. They've lost those little character moments that tie it together. Mm-hmm. And I think like with The Last Jedi, they sort of undid all of the Star Wars mythology. Like they poo-pooed it all. Mm-hmm. And so I think they kind of permanently did damage at that point. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not smart enough to know what to do differently. What I love about Marvel is that I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm in the movie. I'm excited. I think the stakes are high. I think the bad guys are scary. I think the costumes are just breathtaking. Like you want to just be all those guys. So I don't know.
I got tired of so many movies. I get tired of formula and stuff, and the Marvel the Marvel bad guys. So I pinned a fly in the hole.
And he's trying to get out. That's why the rubber band's moving. He's like, I want out. That's pretty powerful.
So this is the 50-year-olds with ADD podcast.
We trapped a bug. So we're in about a 100-year-old log cabin. I like to say 100-year-old. And it's just shy of 100 years old. And bugs are eating it. This weird wood-boring wasp, black wood-boring wasp, has drilled into some of this 100-year-old wood pretty recently. And Dave just caught one with a rubber band. I don't know why we have a rubber band.
I put a big fat rubber band on the hole it crawled into.
Impressive, actually. No, he's moving it that much. I can't imagine. It would be...
If he knocks it off, we should probably run.
Yeah. It would be like being able to move a stack of trampolines off the top of your head if you were trapped in a...
All the wrestling mats in the gym.
Yeah, on your head, and you could move it. So he's pretty feisty. He's going to just murder us.
Anyway, back to Marvel. They're bad guys now. You understand why they're bad. They're just not an evil guy.
Yeah, they're not just trying to do bad things. Evil. They have a plan that kind of makes sense to you.
In Ragnarok, Hela was she's just evil. She's just bad. There's no.
She was fulfilling her destiny of being death.
She's just bad.
Right.
But Thanos has, not that I agree with it, has a reason. One of the kind of bad guys. There's not. I guess there's bad guys in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but one guy is just your basic. I want money, so I'm evil guy, and the other one has a reason for why she's doing what she's doing. Oops! Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Oh,
I said.
And in the first Ant-Man, who was that guy? Is he going to come out now? That actually scares me. He just moved the rubber band, and now it's just an exposed hole with an angry black hornet, wood-boring hornet.
It's going to Hulk out
and kill us all. Hornet. Was that the name of the bad guy in
Yellow Jacket?
Yellow Jacket.
The first one was Yellow Jacket.
And he had a reason, right? He was like, "Look, I was a mentor. I was mentored by Pym, disappointed by him, setting out on his own, going to prove a point that, and he was going to sell the technology to the highest bidder." I think he was a little bit like wring your hands evil.
Yeah, he was a bit predisposed to being evil and
right.
And power, and that's why Hank Pym said, "Oh no, I see that. Never mind.
You're not the guy.
You're not the guy."
And that. Where'd the hornet go? I'm actually,
just kind of chills. Anyway, still in the forest, still beautiful.
Yeah. Now, you as a kid, you grew up kind of in a San Jose type area, right?
I grew up in San Jose, kind of where San Jose, Campbell. Our address was actually Saratoga, but not Saratoga. But it was kind of Campbell, San Jose, kind of all come together.
Suburbia, wide sidewalks.
It was a wonderful place to grow up. It's now one of the most sought after places to live in the country.
It's crazy how things change. It was really super hyper normal suburbia. Like riding your bike down the street, going to the store, that type of stuff. And so for you didn't really grow up in the woods at all. What brought you? When did you first think the woods might be my thing?
Well, I grew up at a church. Spent a lot of time at church for First Baptist Church, Los Altos, and we were always going to camp, whether it was for a week, whether it was for a weekend. We were always getting to go to the mountains. Sometimes it was local Santa Cruz Mountains where we'd go to Camp Hammer. Sometimes it was called Camp Koinonia, which was kind of Santa Cruz Mountains area too. We'd go to Tahoe. We went to all kinds of places, and I just loved the forest. My parents grew up in San Luis Obispo area.
Oh man!
And so That was much more bucolic, even though San Luis Obispo itself, it was just a slower town at that point. It was just a college town. Yeah, I mean, it's not. If I could live in the forest, I wouldn't mind living there.
Yeah, that's an incredible place.
But then my aunts and uncles and cousins all lived out in the country in like Paso Robles, and I like being out in the country. I just would rather be there.
That seems like that was your like youth group that brought you out to all the different campsites?
Oh, yeah.
That's an amazing program.
If it wasn't for, I was just talking about this with my mom the other night. You know, our family didn't have much money, and we couldn't have, when my dad could still travel, our vacation was going to San Luis Obispo, which to most people sounds great. But we went there because we could stay for free because that's where grandparents were. But we couldn't have done anything else. And Mount Herman,
Mount Herman's great.
I always loved living there. People say, "Oh, it's so nice to get away." And I said, "It'd be nicer to live here."
Just stay, right?
So when my last job as a pastor ended, my good friend Matt here moved to Twain Harte. And in fact, you know what? It was 10 years ago. Man. I was living in Folsom, and my nephew Cody was turning 13, and my brother-in-law had I forget if he had an exact name, but it's an official turning 13, you're now a man.
Oh, quinceañera.
Quinceañera. Cody had the prettiest pink dress.
I bet he was adorable. Just adorable.
And giant piñatas. Well, it was kind of like the "you're becoming a man" thing. And so he invited me, and then my brother-in-law Adam's brother, Sean, and Sean's son. And they often get a cabin over here at Pine Mountain Lake over in Groveland. And he invited me to come because we came and we wrote letters. We spent time with him. We gave him godly advice and just encouragement stuff. This kind of marked this moment. And so I was living in Folsom at the time, and I hadn't come this way in a million years since a long time ago, I lived in Tuolumne. I lived at Silver Spur Camp in Tuolumne, and so I knew the area. Anyway, I was supposed to drive straight there, but I took a side trip, and I went into Tuolumne, and then I came up the hill to Twain Harte. And I remembered how much I loved living in this area, and that just kind of set the table. Is that the right term?
Yeah, I think so.
I think mixed metaphors should be a staple of this podcast.
Absolutely. We should always mix our never have them right. So and Cody's not 13 anymore.
No, he's 23 now. That's what
insane.
He's
I still think of him as 13, but he's
well, I still think of him as
a little baby, tiny baby. So that's when you knew, and then I grew up in San Jose kind of area as well, and would go as part of the YMCA. They had Indian guides back then. I don't think they still have Indian guides because I'm not sure it's politically correct. But we would dress as Indians, as we thought they might dress, and we'd run around the woods. And that's when I really connected to it. So
cultural appropriation.
We did. We appropriated it, I suppose. But I think we were a little more colorful. I don't know how we did it. We did it. I don't think it was right. But anyway, it was really a lot of fun. And I fell in love with the woods, and so when it came time to raise our kids, we thought, well, let's find a place that has tall trees and exposed granite and that type of thing. We found Twain Harte, and then we have the house that we bought is crazy. It's got all these little crazy outbuildings. So we had this extra little cabin, and that's when Dave's like, I'm not sure what my next step is. I said, well, until you figure that out, once you stay in our bunkhouse.
Yeah,
that's how that worked.
Although a majority of my life I've been a pastor. My degree was in graphic design, and I've actually worked at churches where I only got paid half time. So I found a job as a graphic designer. And I remember one time on Instant Messenger, Matt asked me when I was frustrated at my last job. I knew my job might be coming to an end. Matt asked what I want to do. I go, man, I just want to do graphic design from a cabin in the forest. That's all I want to do.
I was like, that seems incredibly doable.
That was. But guess what I do? I do graphic design from
a cabin in the forest.
In
and your cabin now, you're not in the bunkhouse anymore. Your cabin now is super awesome. Like it's surrounded by a little creek.
Called a little creek.
Yeah.
It's small, but it's wonderful. The rent is nothing like. I mean, you couldn't store a
jet ski.
Jet ski for that in the Bay Area.
It's amazing.
But it's nice. I do work from home, but it's small enough, and I want to order a larger desk, so it'll be more like I sleep in my office than I work from home. But
so your desk, fine. Your work area is growing, and your sleep.
I step outside into the forest, so
that's pretty crazy.
That's not the worst thing.
Yeah,
it's hot and stuffy in there now, but
it's pretty warm today. What's the craziest, or what's the most foresty thing that's happened, like at your cabin, and you're like, okay, this could only happen here. Has happened to you in your cabin?
Well, there was looking out my bathroom window and seeing the bear on the trail in back of me. That'd be the one.
That's pretty foresty. Was he huge?
Forest fire. It was probably, if it stood up a bit, it might have been almost 6 foot. So I could have taken it.
You'd take it. I would. My money's on you.
I'm rather large.
I would have put $30 on it.
But anyway, I think the most forestry thing since I've been here was watching the forest fall down right here at your house. That was the most forestry thing.
That was hyper foresty. It was like Spielberg's directing the forest.
The day the forest tried to kill us.
Yeah, murder hammers. All trees are murder hammers. That was one of the. I think as I get older, like there's moments that define your childhood that really kind of you go back to as your memories. Do you have a memory of childhood and you call up your 10 stories or whatever? I don't think I get as many of those types of stories in my adult life, where it's really something that it drilled down to the very center of your brain. But that the forest falling down around us was one of those surreal. It seemed very cinematic, because even the guys who helped clean up the forest afterwards said, and they've done it their whole lives, like I've never seen a tree fall. And you and I got to see like 5.
Too many.
5, which is 5 too many.
Which is
Fiona, you can talk. Fiona's here.
Hi.
Fiona is a sophomore at UCLA.
Yes.
She is a power forward for the men's basketball team,
which was a shock to us. And she's an inventor. She has several patents.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, actually, I'm 13.
And way off on that.
I'm in middle school, so don't go to college.
Oh, you don't go to... Are you telling people?
No.
You're warning people.
No, I'm saying
don't.
I
go to
don't
college.
go to college.
Oh, okay, you're not there yet.
But I hope that I will someday.
If somebody asked you, Fiona, tell us, like, define yourself in, like, 4 sentences. Like, what are the things that you see yourself as? You get up in the morning, you're like, Fiona is ... I
don't really know. Like...
Tumblr.
I love to explore the forest and do gymnastics, and I love animals. And I would hope to one day become either a physical therapist or some scientific person.
Like an animal-related scientific person, like you would
probably.
Study frogs or what, like.
Yeah, like a ranger or something.
A ranger and or a physical therapist.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like I think it's again very doable. So you could maybe live in Yosemite where they have a doctor's office where they would need a physical therapist, and you could be, and it's probably part-time, and you could be a ranger, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What is it about animals that compel you? And what is it that's so interesting?
Well, I love comparing them to people and what they can do. So
tell me that. Tell me about that. I understand.
Well, dogs use their sense of smell and hearing a lot more than people do.
Okay.
And I feel like we can learn from that and stuff, and I don't really know. They're so interesting.
So explain to me what Chief is doing over there right now.
Well,
I hear him.
I hear him for sure. He's spinning around in the dirt and spinning around in circles.
Okay,
and
so that's
sounds.
like when a human does what? What's that to being a human?
No clue. Nobody I don't even know any dogs that do it except for Chief. So.
Chief is unique in all the world.
And he's unique in the brain.
He's getting the sillies out.
Yeah, he's like the rose in the Little Prince. He's one of a kind.
He was happy. He happily took Terry's place the last time my house sat because Terry wasn't there.
Yeah.
So
did he sit on your lap? Or did he
oh, yeah. He was always... Just his paw says, "You stopped looking at me. You're not looking at me."
Yeah. It's true. So, what are you taking steps then to become a physical therapist and a ranger? Like, what's your plan for high school and college? Do you have a plan for that, or is that too much pressure to ask?
Well, like for the animals and stuff, I want to take those classes at school. Like they have a little barn and they have like donkeys and.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
They have donkeys at your school?
Mm-hmm.
How come I never knew that? That's amazing.
Okay, well, I can show you next time.
Yeah, next time I go, show me the donkeys.
They have like chickens and.
I didn't know you had a cool school. I thought I was taking you to like a dorky school. What do you see? Is that a blue jay? That's a raven.
No, it's another raven.
Those are they're pretty smart. If you
Terry's
mad at him. Yeah, the raven's cleaning its beak because it probably murdered a rabbit or something.
I don't know. You don't want to see. Last time I saw one there, that's what it was doing. It was eating a baby bunny.
Did you know that?
No.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought we'd try to keep that from.
Yeah.
One day I saw it here. They got baby bunnies.
I've never seen a baby bunny run.
Nature, you scary.
Scary nature.
Scare me.
I've seen big like jackrabbits.
We've seen jackrabbits, and you haven't seen the little baby bunnies?
No.
I've seen baby skunks, baby possums. He's trying. So inside there, underneath there's a hornet trying to get out from underneath the rubber band.
He's strong.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Maybe like 17.
Then he gives up. I guess it wipes him out because I took it off for a while and it didn't come out.
It takes a break.
Oh, Dad.
What? Don't take it off?
No.
You don't want an angry
hornet?
hornet?
What you need to do is get your mom, if she has any more of that peppermint oil. I think bugs hate that peppermint. Put a little drop in each one of those holes and keep them. Because I used that peppermint oil today. All of a sudden, I guess the heat, but ants invaded my bathroom. They were all over the walls.
But the peppermint
oil.
It failed at that point. Oh, see, just give up. Crazy. That's really terrifying. So, he popped his head out, and then Dave put the rubber band back on. That's a scary animal. So, Fiona, would you study hornets, like black hornets, and how we relate as humans?
No, definitely not.
It totally popped its head out.
I hate anything and everything about hornets. I'll deal with.
Is there anything good about hornets? Like, do they pollinate flowers? Don't they?
They will ruin picnics.
They will attack for no reason. What do you have there?
Well, we have this like outdoor.
I actually mix mine with a little bit of water and.
Oh. I wonder if we can't.
Peppermint will keep them away. Lavender will take away their headaches.
Oh, well, that's thoughtful.
That's how it works.
Okay, put some. What did I put?
On guard.
On guard. Protective blend, essential oil supplement. I put it on the hornet. We'll see. And he's not.
We're gonna help him.
Yeah, it's kind of help. Maybe.
Gonna make sure he doesn't get sick.
Reduce his anxiety, maybe.
Yes. Or I think what you did was drown it. So.
Well, that's even better. Drowned.
What a way to go.
Yeah, and sort of a peaceful moment.
Pop it.
Is that?
It's mocking me. It's in the car. I think get it right now.
I don't know. I guess PETA would be after us if that was part of our show.
But what if it was killing a baby bunny again? Then it'd be all right.
And we saving a bunny, and what if we we're just startling the crow or the raven? Look at him. He's totally mocking you.
He is.
Did you see Moon's twin the other day?
No. Moon is our cat, by the way. He's kind of white with gray forehead.
We do not have two moons in the forest.
So where was Moon's twin?
Well, he was sitting on a rock in the creek, just like...
In our creek?
Yeah, just right down there.
I smell that now.
And
what is that?
It's what I use. It's...
The On Guard.
On Guard?
On Guard. It smells pretty good.
He was sitting down in the creek, and then the lake let the dam open,
We live
And-
beneath a large dam. Yeah, that's why the property was so cheap. We got a deal. So they open the dam periodically without letting us know,
Which is
and
great.
it floods our land. So there was a strange cat that looked like our cat that was on a rock in the creek.
But my
When they
cat
open the
was
dam.
sitting next to me watching that cat
Like-
almost get destroyed by this.
Did our cat feel like
What?
he should warn the other cat, or do you feel like, I
No.
can't wait for that cat to get murdered?
He wanted that cat to die.
Did that cat die?
No, the cat just kept running down the stream with the water chasing behind him.
Wow.
Again, very cinematic. So he was he was running straight down the stream rather than getting out. Is it too strong?
No.
It's pretty good. I think we
I'm
might
gonna put
have.
your fingers on it. You'll never get.
Well, his head's coming out, right? So he's not coming out stinger first. Hornets, do they bite or do they just?
I don't know. It's a little tiny little
It's really
thing.
small.
It's a. I don't know what kind.
I think.
What's the mix? I'm like getting orange peel now.
I mean, orange peel and ginger. Is it orange peel and ginger, that mix? Hey,
The-
can I get a
the
paper
orange?
towel? Because I got it everywhere. It really hurts my eyes. Essential oils. Not a sponsor of the show.
Not a sponsor.
Here's your paper towel.
Thank you.
I'll check the.
That's something. I can see where people feel better when they sniff that.
The number is 1008 now.
I think, but see, we're using GarageBand to record this, and that's how many measures we've. If this was if we were talking in 4/4 time, we've done 1,014 measures in 4/4 time. So I don't think I'm doing this right. I think if we when we oops,
There it goes.
Did we go
did I
away?
murder it?
We just got sucked into a vortex. So there we are.
No, we're good.
back.
We're still on.
We're still going.
We might use Audition to record it, maybe in the future. But this seems to be doing fine. I don't know how many gigs we're recording.
I don't know.
And you're picking up well, I think, right?
I think so. I sounded good from the other side over there. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it sounded exactly the same.
That's
And,
not too
we'll
bad.
figure out. I mean, we should probably use 2 mics at some point.
And probably headphones, so we kind of hear maybe our tonal quality. And
Cans. That's what they call headphones. Cans.
They call them cans?
Mhm.
Yeah, we need to know how good we sound. And it sounds good off a 7-year-old MacBook
Thanks.
Pro.
You're being
speakers.
generous. I think this thing might
It's
be.
like
I think Cody was 9 when this thing was made.
Cody was 9.
Yeah, this is a very old laptop that I inherited. I have another laptop, but lost the power cord because that's the way I roll. I lose about half of my technology over time. I don't track it very well. There's an office. Eventually, I think we should maybe do it from the office or the deck up there, but I need to build that. The owner of this cabin, before I, was an eccentric man, and there is a very old swimming pool built in the forest that was gravity fed from a spring that is now where a lake is. And the previous owner of this cabin thought he'd build his office, and he wrote for a local newspaper. Built an office over the pool, but he only built it over right a quarter of the pool,
yeah,
and
just
the
a
other
little
3
section.
and the 3/4 of the pool was a deck that water went through during rainstorms and rotted the deck. So now that little office is hovering, honestly, in space over a swimming pool. It's kind of surreal. So I need to take all that down, build a real office, maybe do our podcast from there, especially in winter, stuff like that.
I think it'd be great. You know, once we get going, like the guys from Good Mythical Morning started in South Carolina?
I did not know that. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, they started in South Carolina. They got big. They got popular. They moved to Los Angeles. We're going to start on the porch, and we're going to get big and popular and move
About
Up the road.
25 yards up the hill to the cabin.
past that cedar.
Because
That's our battle plan.
Because when you live here in Twain Harte, moving to Los Angeles would be a punishment, not any type of reward.
I don't know why. Why did they move to LA when you can do a podcast from anywhere? And they do, right? They do
Because
like a YouTube
they
channel.
do TV shows and
Because they're looking for like a career in performance.
media,
And if they want to
and-
have guests, they want to have
Oh,
famous guests
yeah,
that can
we-
just come right there.
We don't. We want to have guests that are local color. We'd have like the local sheriff.
color.
We'd have maybe a hobo. There are some meth head squatters and a couple
Yeah, we
cabins
could bring
down.
them over here and be like, guys,
I
what do
think
you
they would
about
be
this?
great.
That'd be
I'd-
amazing.
Yeah.
We ought to go through the Sonora crime report in the paper. See if we can get.
If we just
Most of those stories start with a guy asleep at the AM/PM behind the wheel of his car.
Yeah.
And end with all the drug paraphernalia being loaded into the...
And they always shoehorn the alcohol may have been involved.
Yeah. I feel like most of them start out, it's like they ran a red light. Yeah. And then once the cops caught them, then it's like turns out they had a lot of drugs and
it was the least of their the red light may have been the last of them.
Yeah, I read one just the other day. A guy was at AM/PM sitting gassing up, but he had fallen asleep, and there was a scale next to him on the passenger seat with heroin on it.
So he did some. So heroin.
Knock, knock, knock. Oh, man.
A lot of heroin in here. All right. You're in trouble. Yeah, so we can get some of that on there. I think they would be happy to be on the show. I don't really know any famous people that would come on the show.
We know plenty of soon-to-be famous people.
I know people that were almost famous. People that are standing next to the famous people. That's who we would have on the show.
I think Fiona's going to be famous.
I'm going to be famous?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think you'll be famous?
No.
Is fame something that you desire?
Sometimes fame is thrust upon you.
That's true.
Or is that greatness?
No, fame.
No, that's
only fame. There's moments where you're asked to be famous.
Hummus. Hummus is always thrust upon you. Have some hummus.
And it's just splattered on your glasses. What if you were a park ranger, physical therapist, and some sort of rescue hero, and then you became famous?
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
My goal isn't to become famous in life. My goal isn't to become rich and all that.
Your parents would love for you to become rich.
It would really help around the house. They need to build a new office. They're going
to need ramps or lifts here pretty soon to get to the house.
We're vintage of skeleton. We need ramps.
Yeah.
What's more important, helping people or being famous?
Helping people.
It seemed like a canned answer. So how do you help people? Do you help people?
I try just around, if somebody maybe an old person needs help bringing their groceries to their car or something, or teachers at school.
You help teachers at school. You did that recently. In fact, helped a teacher move her room and stuff like that. And then you helped a friend of mine who had she's an older woman and needed help with her yard work, right? Mm-hmm. And you broke a sweat, to say the least, helping clean up her place, and I think she teared up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there was that time your class was in the elevator of the Washington Monument, and the elevator started to break.
Yeah.
And, that's Spider-Man: Homecoming.
And then you
use your
web to hold them up.
I used my webs and I held it all up.
You'd be a fantastic Spider-Man.
Oh, you're gonna be! I thought you were gonna be an American Ninja.
I wish I could. My knees would dislocate.
Your knees would give out?
I would do one thing, hang all the way across, jump down, and then my knee would dislocate, and I just fall over.
So your knees are loose? You have loose knees?
Yeah.
Loose knees.
Loosey. Is there a way of fixing that? How do you fix loose knees?
Well, it'll never be completely healed because I'm just a loose person. But my right knee specifically, the tendon has torn off because of the amount of dislocations. So I could get a surgery and get that sewn back where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But have it sewn backwards.
You would run like the weird alien at the end of... so should your parents then maybe pay for that surgery, or is it something they've just been kind of slacking off on?
Well, we need the doctor to look at the MRI and decide exactly what he wants to do, and then we do it.
All right. So we have a plan. Fix your knees. Do you think they could sew your knees together in such a way that you could do an American Ninja type event?
I doubt it, but I think I would be able to if I wore braces on my knees or something in order to stop.
I've seen guys with amputees with things, so maybe just go ahead and get it taken off.
Go all the way to robot.
Get a new.
It's cheaper.
I think a combination of robot knees and some sort of massive dose of radiation and
Maybe a bite from a forest animal?
It's all about Marvel's movies.
Yeah,
the only
I
way.
got bit by a mountain lion, and then I became...
You'd have the powers of a mountain lion?
Yeah.
I would try it. I gave you a raspberry face pack, and you're not wearing that at night. I don't understand.
Got bit by a mountain lion, and I developed sepsis and
Yeah,
gangrene and lost my arm.
Yeah. None of the powers of a mountain lion. It was a rip-off.
Lost a lot of blood.
Mountain lions. Growing up in the forest, you're a young lady who runs around in the forest,
I do indeed.
collecting animals, finding frogs and turtles and fish, and any number of cool animals. Are you concerned about mountain lions?
Not really. In the time that we've been here, like 10 or 11 years, I think we've seen 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very...
3.
Oh my gosh! Right behind you.
One of those was very nerve-wracking when a mountain lion took away a baby deer.
Yeah.
That was definitely scary.
For all
And
the city
he'd go
slickers
for
out
the
there,
well.
baby deer can make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
They don't think
They
of that.
they scream. This is the dark part of the episode. But yeah, the mountain lion snuck up and took a fawn right in front of us, and in front of the mother deer, the doe. And that mountain lion, with a fawn in its mouth, ran straight up a 45-degree mountain.
Yeah, at least.
At least
It's
45 degrees, maybe
pretty
60.
steep over there, yeah.
Incredibly steep. No way to catch up to it. No way the mother deer could catch up. And the fawn screamed like a person. That was terrifying.
Yeah, for sure. And to think that I was pretty much the same size as that deer.
Yeah. And maybe 80 or 100 feet away. Like,
Yeah.
you could have been a choice.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
definitely
totally scary.
immune for that.
As a dad, I think, oh, someday I'll be like I would be a superhero, a Marvel superhero. There's no way. There's no way
No.
you could stop that from happening. It's
Like,
crazy.
I get
It's
scared
the
if I'm out
commissioner.
at night and there's like a raccoon, and I'm like it's a
Yeah.
raccoon. Even though really it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but like thinking a mountain lion, like you couldn't fight
Now, as a bad dad, I told you the mountain lions can jump 25 feet straight up, or something to that effect.
it. Yeah.
And your room is how high in the air?
Probably 10 feet.
Yeah, 10. Yeah, it's probably about 10 feet. So, not knowing that I had caused irreparable harm to your psyche, you were then nervous about mountain lions landing up on your window.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna come through the window, and then I realized the likeliness of that happening is very little. But
So your own
since
logic.
then, yeah, then I was like, okay, I see it living over there, and if it can jump 25 feet and my room is 10 feet high, then it could walk over here and it could jump and be like in my room pretty much, except for the window being right there.
And that's pretty thick glass.
It is.
We paid extra for it.
But
Yeah,
that's why you have Terry now.
Terry,
Yeah, Terry will protect me. He's a little schnauzer.
Or be taken first.
Terry would sacrifice himself.
I think Mountain say Terry's less work.
He's less work, but I think he's less of a
that's a
payoff.
terrible thing to say.
So Terry is your dog, and what kind of dog is he?
He's a schnauzer poodle.
Schnauzer poodle. So it's
Schnoodle?
Schnoodle.
he's a schnoodle, which is
He's a schnoodle.
pretty tough forest animal, right? I mean, schnoodles used to, in the wild, back in the olden days, they would pack maybe 100 of them, and they would take down a water buffalo.
Yes.
Mhm.
And your schnoodle is pretty tough like that?
Yeah, he's really tough. Whenever something's outside, he pretty much just hides underneath the German Shepherd. So,
That's tough.
and then he sits underneath the dog and shivers and whines.
Seems all right.
But he does wear his shirt that says "Built Tough," and so it pretty much fixes all of that.
So it's all about advertising for him.
Yeah,
Marketing.
exactly.
How did it come about, you getting Terry?
Well, I had always wanted a little dog, and our family only ever got big dogs. And I was like, I like little dogs. I want one for myself. And this was when I was like 7.
Okay, it sounds like you at 7. I
Yeah.
remember that.
And then there was a bunch of, this sounds mean, there's like a bunch of rules that I had to like follow before being able to get a dog.
Who gave you those rules?
You and my mother.
Dumb old parents.
Dumb parents.
What kind of rules were those?
Well, taking care of the dog we previously had, and feeding him every day and night, make sure he had water, building a fence in the yard for the dog to go out and play in, earning the money myself and finding the dog myself. And
did any of those rules seem unreasonable to you as a 7-year-old?
I didn't think so because I knew that I would have to do those later with the dog anyways, like, you know, feeding it and giving it water and letting it outside and stuff. So it made a lot of sense to me, and I didn't feel like it was overdoing it with the amount of work that I did.
We gave you those rules to stop you from getting a dog. We thought it would work. We thought there's no way she's going to earn that much money. There is no way she's going to consistently feed our existing animals. And there is no way she's going to get tools from the garage and build a fence that will stand in the backyard. So
as a 7-year-old?
Yeah, so as a mom and dad, we're like, oh, we win this one. This will be easy. Yeah. But instead, what happened?
Well, I started off thinking of ways that I could earn money because I knew that would be the hardest part, is actually getting that amount of money. But I didn't know quite how much it would be for the dog that I wanted. So I guesstimated at about $200.
Good guess.
And I know there's a bunch way more than that and some cheaper than that, but I knew that was a good price I wanted to go for. And so I did, I set up lemonade stands, and I did pet sitting for other people, and I cleaned houses, and I did work for my parents, and anytime I could earn money, I did.
Yeah.
And it took about a year and a half to earn the $200 that I needed. And then while I was earning that, I collected up wood from different scrap piles and stuff, and we got the wire fencing material.
Yeah, it's like a hog wire fencing.
Yeah, and we went out and dug holes and put in posts. And
with a post hole digger, right?
Yeah. And
you worked really, really, really hard. So by the time...
long time.
And then you found the dog online, or who found it? Was it me?
Yeah, it was... Well, we were both looking at different shelters. We were going to different places and thinking at different breeds and what we wanted to do. And then we were looking at this one shelter, and it didn't seem like a great shelter.
What made it not good?
Well, it was a high-kill shelter. And
what's a high-kill shelter mean?
It means a lot of the time when a dog doesn't, if it's not healthy or doesn't get adopted soon, they put it down. And Terrence, my dog, was one of those that they were gonna put down. And he was very ugly in the picture.
Well, I've never heard you say that. That's amazing. Okay, go ahead.
He probably hadn't had a haircut in 2 years, and he's a Schnauzer poodle, neither in which shed.
Yeah.
So he was just growing a lot of fur, and I think he weighed 3 pounds more than he did after the haircut. And so he had a lot of fur, and in the picture, his eyes were glowing red, and I was like,
how'd you know?
Want that dog. I was like,
why?
You could take home little Beelzebub for $200.
No clue, but for some reason, that year and a half was worth that ugly dog. And so then this other lady saved him from the shelter because he was gonna get...
Do you remember her name?
Shirley. And
Shelter Shirley.
She was able to keep him from the shelter without adopting him or something.
She had a schnoodle rescue type thing going on.
Yeah, and so she...
.com. Yeah, I'm sure it's a thing.
And so she was able to have the dog.
We shall rescue the schnoodle.
She was able to have the dog and make sure that he wasn't put down.
That's good.
Until somebody adopted him. And then that person was me. And she drove all the way to our house to come check and make sure that it was a good spot for...
That we weren't bad people, right? That we weren't jerks.
Yeah, and in order to get the dog, we needed to have a fenced-in area, and there was a couple other things that we needed to have. And as soon as they got here, Terry jumped out of the car, pre-named Terry because he was a terrier. He jumped out of the car, and he ran to me, and I picked up his leash, and we walked up to the house, and he sat down in my lap and fell asleep.
So immediately thought you were the one.
Then I knew, I'm like, for sure, this is the dog I want. And he was much cuter then because he had gotten a haircut and his eyes weren't glowing red.
That's not a permanent feature?
No.
That's good. And how long have you had him now?
I've had him 6 years.
Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah, because I got him in 2nd grade. And
That's
I'm going in 8th
amazing.
grade. So I've had him for almost 6 years. So he's 8.
And we have 3 dogs altogether. We have my dog, Chief. We have your mom's dog, Roscoe. And your dog, Terry. Of the 3 dogs, which one's the smartest?
Well, Terry is. And I'm not just saying that because he's my beloved pupper. It's because, like, literally the other dogs just roll around in the dirt and make weird sounds and stuff. And, like, Roscoe, the big German Shepherd, will just open up the fence and leave, which is pretty smart. But then he just runs into the wilderness and doesn't usually come back.
What's your favorite thing about Terry? What's your absolute, like, this is, if I think of Terry and I had to do it in one word or one thought?
His personality.
He has a lot of personality.
Yeah, and he'll let me, like, hold him like a baby and stuff and wear outfits.
He really likes you, and he really likes Dave.
Yeah.
A lot. Like, obvious, super obvious, which is cool.
And he dances. I taught him to dance, and he jumps up and he spins around on his
Does he dab?
He doesn't dab.
Doesn't dab.
I'm glad that he doesn't dab.
Something that's interesting. You mentioned the lady rescue. I had I currently have a strudel rescue where I go to different bakeries at the grocery stores and see if they're about ready to throw out old strudel, and then I give them a good home.
Where's that home? My tummy. My delicious tummy.
Terry is so funny. Like when you let the dogs out to go outside because they're tired of being inside, especially like if there's snow. Chief, Roscoe, they run through the snow. Terry runs up to the door, and then he looks up at me and goes, "No, no.
I don't think I'm gonna.
I don't think so.
Not today.
I'm not gonna.
I don't think so."
Do you do a Terry voice, Fiona?
I can't do it.
Terry talks like this because Terry has an underbite.
What's going on, you guys?
Terry has an underbite.
Who's going? Molly does a voice, but she won't do it for us on phone. Hey, little mama. What's it? Well, you see, the thing is, I should be inside all the time because, you see, I'm a tough guy, and it's a tough building, so if it's a match. Right? Something like that.
And whenever the fence gets opened by one of the other dogs, instead of Terry running into the wilderness like the other 2 do, he runs inside of the house and lays down on my bed where he always wants to be.
So comfort's important to him.
He actually uses the dog houses too. That's the only one of your dogs.
The other 2 dogs are afraid
$1 million
of the
dog houses you had built.
We had custom dog houses built, thinking that would help. But Terry moved into both of them like a wealthy landowner, and he owns them both, and keeps the other dogs out. But he understands how a dog house works.
Yeah.
The others don't.
Sleeps. And there's like a full couch cushion inside of there because, he's got to be comfortable.
Yeah, comfort's big for him. Yeah. And me.
And you.
I believe in comfort.
So when did we start this?
We started at 5. No, we didn't. We'll probably go an hour. So what do you think? We should wrap it up?
Maybe. Boy, we can talk for an hour, can't we?
We did good talking for an hour.
Plan this out.
Yeah.
At all. That would be something else.
Well,
but we definitely want to talk more about living in Twain Harte. There's a million podcasts out there. They're all perfect, but we want to have one too. And
right.
What makes us unique is we live in the forest.
I think it's exactly it. Like, there's a lot. I've been listening to James Bonding, where they just talk about James Bond movies and have theories about them. Totally awesome. Stuff You Should Know, great podcast. So there's other great podcasts out there. But I do think that it's kind of nice just to sit on the deck and talk about the forest and maybe listen to some good music and maybe chat.
Completely rip off Good Mythical Morning.
We'll do that? Are we going to eat some weird food? You're going to buy some Play-Doh for us?
You're going to make food, and you're going to tell us if you made a cookie or if you made it out of Play-Doh. If it's a real cookie or you made it out of Play-Doh. We'll have to guess.
Let's do mostly cookies. I'm going to set the mark.
One of them's going to be Play-Doh.
Never.
Well,
Never Play-Doh.
If you guys would have started later, then, I have some peanut butter cups that are solidifying in there.
When do you think those will be ready?
I'm not sure when those will be.
Check on that, and maybe we'll finish the episode with some peanut butter cookies. So, Dave, thank you for your patience.
Hey, no problem.
I appreciate it a lot.
it shouldn't be this easy. So we'll see what. Because
horrible-
everyone would do it.
Yeah, what goes horribly wrong. Let's find out. We'll edit this down for time and maybe add a little music, and then and we'll see what we need to do next. And thank you for coming over and enjoying the deck.